Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys liked the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward.
What's up, guys? Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert. Do your own research. Okay, so absolutely fucking insane price action from Bitcoin yesterday. It had a really massive candle. I mean, we haven't seen a candle like that in quite some time. I can't remember the total percent. I think it was like, I don't know, 15% or something like that. But it was absolutely insane. I don't think anybody expected anything like that. And I think that when you see a candle like this, it definitely has to change your overall projections and your outlook in terms of potential bottoms and what have you. But with that said, I still want to urge a lot of caution, and I still want everybody to really just be very cautious and kind of wait to see where the next high is printed, because I think that's going to be really key. So the question is this the God candle that everybody's looking for? Where the God candle is basically where you know you have a lot of confidence that the bottom is in. The last God candle that we had was back in July of 2021, where we saw this candle right here. So obviously we saw this long market downtrend, followed by a large consolidation in May, June, and July, and then we got this candle right here. And this was really a sign that the bottom was in. Now, I didn't really know it at the time because I was too busy shitting myself because I was like, oh my god, this is like gonna break this 28K level. This is like 29K. It's getting pounded every single time, and we're just gonna lose it. But this was the God candle here, where we just saw this like massive big buy, and you saw like insane amounts of follow up, right? Like it's just like consecutive green candles all the way up, and we know what happens next. Obviously, slight dip followed by a larger move up, and then all-time high levels. So this was the last one, uh, and Bitcoin has had some long, interesting candles in the past. For instance, this is the Z pump in 2019. This is way out of this. This was not expected either back in 2019. So like, um, you know, like I don't remember exactly what the context was. I remember something to do with China. Maybe like China was. I can't remember. China was doing something. But anyways, this was like a 20% move, and then obviously it was like a lower high, and then just like nuked lower. I remember this being like a crazy context candle within like a strange context. Anyways, that aside, uh, the question is now: is this currently the God candle here? Is this candle where it spells the end of a downtrend and some sort of market reversal is incoming? I don't actually know. I mean, I definitely think that you have to consider it being like usually a downtrend ends in one of two ways. Either one, it ends in the sense that you see like a massive liquidation candle at the end, like one final shakeout, lots of volatility, and then um and then a short calming period, and things go up, or you just see like things are down, and then you like see boom, it's time to move, where you have this big God candle. So this one could be the latter. I'm not exactly sure yet, but um, I'm really interested to see a few things. Number one, I'm interested in seeing where the high is printed. As you've seen my previous video, maybe this was the last high right here around 46K. And to me, from a market structure perspective, we've seen nothing but a downtrend over the last several months, where there's lower highs and lower lows. It's very easy to spot these on the chart. Um, I'll denote these in red, where you just see like lower lows, lower highs, just like a bearish market structure, right? And you can start seeing these shifts on like lower time frames. Like they'll show up a little bit more clearly on lower time frames, where you see like these slight dips. But these were just like this is just like a straight grind down. This was not like the May price action where we just like nuked it all in one go. But anyways, clearly a bearish market structure, where the last low was printed in late January. around like this 33K area. And what happens next? So we hit this high, arguably a higher high relative to what we saw back in January 12th. So if you consider this like last move here a high, then we hit a higher high. With that said, there's some people that don't really denote this last move as a high. You know, what you denote as highs and lows it can be subjective in my opinion. For me personally, I do consider this 46K level a high. So this is like the high that I'm currently viewing. And what we're looking at a market structure perspective is if this area was in fact a low, a legit low. It's looking like it is. And if it is a legit low, then that means that we currently have a higher low relative to what we saw back in late January. And to me, the next step would be to hit a higher high, and that would be 46K. So you know, if this breaks 46K on high time frame charts, not just wick above and then break down, then I think that you can really start to make some arguments for bullish market structure at this point, because then at that point you have a higher high breaking 46K, and you also have a higher low which broke above this 33K area. Now, with that said, it's certainly possible. There are certainly a lot of different scenarios where price can break down. Like price can come here and then like, you know, it can break down. Like maybe it just wicks above. Maybe it just like barts down and then we just come back down. Entirely possible. And that's why I'm still kind of waiting for right now to see where the high is printed. I'm not ready to call this a bullish market structure quite yet. I still am waiting to see where the high is at. And that's kind of my overall plan over the next few days, is to really see where this high is printed. If in fact Bitcoin, if this is the short-term bottom, then I think that we're going to see a lot of follow-up. Like if you look back contextually from this move in July, this was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe 9 is not. It's a doji, but you have like 9 days in a row where this just like fucking goes insane. Like just goes up. Um, and it's this, you want to see follow up like this if Bitcoin is in fact bottomed out. So in my opinion, the next 2 or 3 days is really important to see if this is in fact like going to be a higher high above 46K. Like to me, I think that it will, and the reason is just because of how strong the candle was yesterday. Like if we had slowly grinded up, then I think that the chances would have been a little bit lower. Like if we just see like, you know, like slowly grind up over a few days period where like we see this, then I think that the market structure is still bearish because like the overall trend is bearish. But because we saw the price action that we saw yesterday, which was really fantastic to see, obviously, then I think that it increases the odds of this 46K level breaking on high time frame charts. And again, if that happens, then I think that you have to start considering shifting your bias towards a bullish market structure at that point. Now, what would happen next after that? I don't know. Like this 51K area seems to be significant, and that would be like the next area up. So like, you know, if we go break above 46 and like maybe retest it, we would come back up to this 51K area, and that would be like the next area up. Now, where do I see this bottoming, like from a total macro bottom? Honestly, this like candle really changed a lot of my opinion personally. Like I was still the opinion that we're going to revisit 33 to 34K before this big candle, just because you see a lot of wicks in the demand area typically for bottoms. Like, you know, if you look back in September, you saw like lots of wicks, lots of moves down into the demand area. Of course, back May, June, July, you see lots of moves into this demand area. And again, in January, you see lots of moves again in this demand area. Now, I understand contextually this is way different than what we're seeing now. Like, you know, when you see something like May move like this massive liquidation period over a very short amount of time, that's going to have much different price action that we're seeing over the last price action from November, December, and January. Because this type of price action is much more like of a slow grind, look lower high, lower low, traditional bear market, whereas this was more of like, futures markets were, we're just seeing like mass liquidation period and then chop. So the way that these two reverse are going to be different, in my opinion. Like for May, we just consolidated and chopped for a long time. But it is important to note that we did hit one last shakeout before the bottom was truly in. So we hit, we went up to this range highs, then we hit a negative 30% move. Well, not quite that. I think it was like a little bit less. But anyways, yeah, negative 30% move from these range highs. So, if this doesn't in fact break 46K, I'm still like looking for a possibility of like one final shakeout. Maybe this like will end up like not being able to break through 46, and then we revisit the lows again around 34, 35, 36K around. That's entirely possible. But I will say, with the strength of yesterday's candle, I am more of the opinion that I think that 46K is going to break, and I do think that we are going to establish a bullish market structure on the daily. That's kind of my overall bias currently, and I think that my idea of it going to 34, 35K again could be very wrong. So after that, I guess we'll see what happens around 51K. I think that's certainly like the next level up. And I guess let's just see. People are going to be asking too, like, where's the volume? But because of the way this had a long downtrend and the way it grinded down, I don't think you need as much volume to break some of these levels as you did back for the May shakeout. And the reason is that the sellers are often tapped multiple times on the way down in this type of price action that we're seeing in December and January. And whereas like these levels are all like untouched for months on end. Just like this was still an inefficient move that had to be there's still sellers in those areas. Whereas this type of price action, there's like residual sell side liquidity, but there's not going to be as much, in my opinion, compared to like May. So I don't think there's as much volume or as much effort that's needed for price to make its way back up to like the low mid 50Ks, in my opinion. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Tomorrow I'm going to have some video, I think, on like what type of altcoins I'm really looking at. I shared on Twitter today. I did think that AXS, Solana, maybe Looks. Those are some coins that I'm really looking at right now. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll talk some more soon.